Thanks a lot. Matthew Lee, Inner City Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Thanks a lot for doing this briefing. I was reading the release you put out after your Tunisia visit, and I just wanted, I mean, how you came up with these estimates to various countries. I was kind of, is this information from the government? How did you come up with it? And Mr. Roma, I wanted to know, I know that previously the group looked into the UN's own use of private military firms. And I wanted to know, has there been any follow-up in terms of the transparency you called for the UN? Which missions are you still using these contractors, and what's been the impact of the group's work on reforming that?
Thank you very much for your question. Coming back to the visit in Tunisia, the rule of the working group is to talk to as many bodies as possible, all those who are willing to talk to us openly. And our working group consists of 5 independent experts. So we are free in expression of our thoughts and in examination of the problem. In Tunisia, we started from the visit in ministries: Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Women and Children, parliamentary commissions that work on counterterrorism legislation. Then we were talking to civil society, non-governmental organizations, members to families of foreign fighters, association. It is the private initiative of the person whose brother was a foreign fighter and came back to Tunisia. We also talked to detainees in Mornagia prison. It is very near from Tunis. So we were able to examine more than 10 detainees, foreign fighters, both Tunisians of nationality and different than Tunisian, German, Algerian. We were able to do this. And I want to highlight that government of Tunisia was very open for us. I should also mention we talked to Ministry of National Defense, so those who also control border and deal with intelligence. So all informations we received from Tunisia were from all possible bodies, the same from government, from municipal bodies, from prosecutors. There was a special meeting with prosecutors who deal with the problem of foreign fighters. Very efficient was the meeting in Ministry of Interior Affairs. So that is mainly the tools, how we examined the problem, how we were able to gather information. So our preliminary findings that were presented and press release was based on it were gathered after interviews to all those bodies. And this is the first step for GA report, which will be presented in November.
It's more just one very brief thing, because I was just wondering when it said 60 Tunisians are in Mali and 50 in Yemen. It seems so specific. I wondered, is that the kind of, does the government keep those figures? Is this, yes, that's their estimate. Okay.
Then concerning your questions about the UN's use of private contractors, you said the UN's use of private military contractors. The UN Department of Safety and Security has always taken pains to point out to us that the United Nations does not use military contractors. They use security contractors, but not military contractors. We have, had really excellent cooperation from Department of Safety and Security over the last year or more in discussing and developing our concerns about the UN's use of contractors. And I think we would have to agree that the UN does not use military contractors for military functions. There may be concerns in which the United Nations is using a company for purposes of providing security when that company also performs military contracting functions for other clients in other contexts. And that, of course, raises concerns about both the UN's actual and appearance of neutrality and independence, and that may also cause concern for security of UN personnel. But as far as the transparency of the UN's process is concerned, which I think was your specific question, this is a work in progress from our perspective. As I said, DSS has been extremely forthcoming in discussing with us our concerns about the UN's use of private security contractors, making sure that such contracting only occurs when it's absolutely essential and as a last resort, and also making sure that there are proper methodologies of vetting these companies, of assuring that their activities are in compliance with international law, that they are not companies whose personnel have been involved in human rights law violations, and in assuring that when and if violations occur under UN contract, that there are methods of accountability and remedy available to victims. And importantly, that the UN therefore exercise due diligence as it does in its relationship with, say, military authorities of countries in which there are peacekeeping, peace enforcing operations. As I said, this is a work in progress. I cannot answer directly that, yes, the UN has provided us with information about how it will make public what it's doing about the grounds for determining that contractors are necessary as a last resort, or the methodologies of accountability and remedies for victims of violations when they occur. I can only tell you that this now is a source of continuing conversation between our working group and the UN Department of Safety and Security.